You know, when you pour a glass of wine or grab a handful of raisins, have you ever really thought about where it all comes from? Well, it all starts with just one plant species, Vitis vinifera. And this isn't just any plant. This is a plant that has been a silent partner in human history, shaping empires, religions, and even our culture. So let's uncork this incredible story.
And that quote really nails it. This isn't just a story about a plant. It's more like a biography of a species that has been on this journey with us for thousands of years. It's a true epic of how a single vine basically conquered the world and became a symbol of civilization itself.
So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll trace the grape's ancient journey. Then we'll get into the science of what makes it so special. After that, we'll see what it's good for besides wine. And you might be surprised. And finally, we'll look at what the future holds for this incredible vine.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. We're talking thousands of years ago, with a wild vine growing in the mountains, long before it was ever cultivated.
I mean, just look at this timeline. You can see how fast this thing took off. It starts wild in the Caucasus, but pretty quickly humans figure it out. Fast forward a few thousand years, and in Egypt, it's this sacred drink for the gods and pharaohs. Then in Greece, it's literally at the center of their culture, fueling festivals for Dionysus. But then, the Romans. They were the real game changers. They were masters of logistics, and they didn't just enjoy wine, they systematically spread it across their entire empire, planting the seeds for the legendary wine regions we know and love today. And this is where the grape becomes something so much more than just a crop. It gets woven into the very fabric of our laws and beliefs. In Christianity, wine is a sacred symbol, the blood of Christ. But even way before that, it was so economically important that one of the world's oldest legal codes, the Code of Hammurabi, had specific laws just to regulate the wine trade. So it was sustenance, it was spirituality, and it was big business.
Okay, let's move into our second chapter. Because as this vine traveled the world, we started to understand the science behind what makes the perfect grape.
So, during the age of exploration, European explorers took Vitis vinifera everywhere with them. The Americas, South Africa, Australia. This vine was a serious world traveler. But then, disaster. A tiny little pest called phylloxera, which hitched a ride from America, started attacking the roots of European vines, and these vines had zero natural defense. It was a plague that spread like wildfire, wiping out almost all of the vineyards in Europe. I mean, we're talking about an extinction-level event for wine. The solution, though, was absolutely brilliant. They started grafting the fragile European vines onto tough, resistant American rootstock. It saved the entire industry.
So, with the grape now growing all over the world, people started asking a really interesting question. Why does a grape grown in France taste so completely different from the exact same type of grape grown in California or in Chile? Well, the answer comes down to one single beautiful word.
And that word is terroir. It's a French term, and there's no perfect English translation, but it basically means a sense of place. It's this idea that the entire environment of a vineyard, the soil, the climate, the sun, everything, leaves a unique signature on the taste of the grapes.
Let's think of it like a recipe. The climate, that's your oven. You know, how much sun, how much rain, whether you have hot days and cool nights, that all affects ripeness. The soil, that's the seasoning. Rocky soil might give a wine a mineral note, while clay soil could lead to a bolder, richer flavor. And then things like altitude and which way the hill faces, that's like adjusting the cooking time. All these little factors combine to create a flavor that is completely unique to that one specific spot on Earth.
But hey, the story of Vitis vinifera is so much bigger than just wine. So for our third chapter, let's uncover some of the amazing health benefits that are packed inside every single one of these little grapes.
I mean, just look at this. A single grape is basically a tiny nutritional powerhouse. It's absolutely loaded with antioxidants like resveratrol, you've probably heard of that one. Plus, it's got a great mix of essential vitamins like C and K, important minerals like potassium, and of course, fiber and natural sugars for energy.
So what does all that good stuff actually do for us? Well, those powerful antioxidants are famous for supporting heart health. Some studies even suggest they might play a role in cancer prevention by protecting our cells. And it gets better. Compounds in grapes have been shown to boost brain function and protect our eyes. The list just goes on and on. It's a pretty impressive resume for such a small fruit, right? And the grape's versatility is just incredible. We're not just talking fresh grapes and wine. Vitis vinifera is where we get grape juice and, of course, raisins, which are really just dried grapes. But there's also a super valuable byproduct, grapeseed oil. It's extracted from the seeds, and it's used in all sorts of high-end cooking and even in cosmetics because it's so rich in antioxidants.
And that brings us to our final act. After this incredible, millennia-long journey with humanity, what's next for the vine? Well, it's a story of brand new challenges being met with some seriously cool innovation.
This slide really captures the situation perfectly. On one side, you've got these huge challenges, a lot of them driven by climate change, hotter temperatures, less water, crazy weather. But then you look at the other side and you see this explosion of innovation. To deal with water scarcity, growers are using precision irrigation that gives each vine the exact drop of water it needs and nothing more. Drones are flying over vineyards to monitor plant health, and advanced sensors can spot pests before an outbreak even starts.
But, it's not all about high-tech gadgets. There's a much deeper shift happening here, a real commitment to sustainability. Growers are realizing that to save the vine for the long term, they have to take care of the entire ecosystem. That means focusing on keeping the soil healthy, planting other crops to encourage biodiversity, and using renewable energy. It's a much more holistic way of thinking, all to make sure this ancient plant can thrive for generations to come.
And so, this is where we'll end, with the big question that looms over the future of the grapevine. As we turn to all this amazing technology to adapt to a changing planet, can we actually preserve those delicate, ancient flavors of terroir that we've spent thousands of years perfecting? Can innovation save tradition, or will it inevitably change it forever? That right there is the defining question for the vine's next chapter.